There we go, people. Spreading magical pixie dust over you to help you increase your knowledge from race to ratios. Let's do this here. So remember, a rate is simply our comparison of two numbers that has words. So we see that in part A right here. We have a rate. 434 miles, 7 hours. Okay, I know it just says the 434 and the 7, but it tells me here what the miles and the hours we're dealing with. But they want the unit rate. So they want to know how much for 1. So remember, time's always going to go on that bottom there. And it is in that particular order, so we don't have to worry about it. But yeah, 434 miles for the 7 hours. You want to figure out how much it is for 1 hour. So yeah, we're going to have to divide by 7. And that's the theme that we've been seeing. So if I take my 434 and I end up dividing it by the 7, so 62. All right, so there we go. So we're going approximately 62 miles in the 1 hour, or we would say 62 miles per hour, because remember, per meaning 1. So yeah, that's what we're after here. Now, let's watch what's going on here now. All right, we're going to be looking at part B here. So, and we're going to use this in our table. So it says the ratio of laps to minutes is 5 to 4. Okay, so that gives me 5 laps, all right, in the 4 minutes. What we want to realize here is that there's different ways of writing it when we don't get crisp, clean numbers. First of all, decimals are okay. We've dealt with decimals when we talk money, so it's not an issue. But sometimes it just doesn't work out, and we want to understand what it looks like as a unit rate. So, in this particular case, the 5 laps in the 4 minutes. Well, that's my ratio, all right? 5 to 4, okay? My unit rate, all right, let's come on up here, let's take care of it. It's how much for 1. If I take the 5 and then we divide it by 4, I get 1.25. All right, so the unit rate here is 1.25, and then it was laps, all right, per, that means the 1 minute. Okay, so what we also want to realize here is that if we use this slash, that slash does mean per, and per does mean for the 1. So that is a unit rate when we see that slash mark. And what we do want to realize is it's okay that we use a fraction. So that would mean 5/4 laps per minute. And the reason why is, let's go back up and rewind up here. What did we do? Well, we divided by a 4. So we took the 5 and we also divided it by a 4. Well, look, that's what this says here. 5 divided by 4. The fraction bar means divide. So the only thing is we left it in fraction form instead of writing it in decimal form. And what we're saying is that's okay. We can do that. So let's dig a little bit deeper into that. Dave can clean pools at a constant rate of 3/5 pools in an hour. So what we want to realize here is 3/5 of a pool. That's less than a hole. So 1 hour, he is not finishing a pool that's there. So, okay, we can use that for the 1 hour. The problem with that is I don't always like to play with fractions. Whole numbers are nicer. So watch what we're going to do here. Part A, what's the ratio of pools to hours? Okay, so the 3 came first. The pools came first. So that's the same as 3 pools in the 5 hours. And that's what we want you to realize. Yes, that's not a unit rate, okay, because it's for 5 hours, not for the 1 hour there. But we can use that to help us solve situations there. So when you see a fraction, instead of writing 3/5 for the 1, which we can, it is the same thing. It's just that it gets messier because now you've got to deal with the fractions that are there. So when they ask the question here, how many pools can Dave clean in 10 hours? Well, if I use this guy, look how nice it is. Okay, it was 5 hours, so the 10's going to go down the bottom because that's where my time goes. And we can see we're multiplying by a 2. So, okay, times 2, so that's 6. All right, so he can clean the 6 pools, all right, in the 10 hours. All right, that works. Watch what happens if we use the fraction form, though. So I'm going to come on up over here and look at that 3/5 that we've got here. So the 3/5 in the 1 hour. It wanted to know, hey, how much for the 10 hours? Okay, so what do you do to multiply a 1 by to get to a 10? Yeah, well, we multiply by 10. So now you got to do 3/5 times 10. And that's fine, but for a lot of you, your reaction is going to be something like, because you don't want to deal with fractions. You want to deal with the whole numbers. I get it. But at the same time, okay, make it into a whole number. A little cross division, divide them both by 5. And look what you get. 6 over 1. Well, what is 6 ones? Yeah, it's 6. It's 6 pools. Same answer. So it doesn't make a difference. It just depends on what you see. But for most students, they're going to want to use that fraction approach there so they don't have to deal with the fractions. So how long does it take Dave to clean 15 pools? Well, again, if I use it, the fact that he's doing the 3 pools in the 5 hours. And again, that's all coming back from that original that, hey, 3/5 pools per hour is the exact same thing as saying 3 pools for the 5 hours. And again, you can see the 3/5 there. You can see the pools in the hours. And so now that we want 15, oh, it's so nice. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. And we say our 9 pools. Again, could I have taken the 3/5 and multiplied it times the 15? Absolutely. A lot of you just don't want to play like that, though. All right, so let's look at this here. All right, let's try one more here together. One more that has a breakdown of problems. Okay, so I guess it's more than one more. Sorry. Hey, Emmeline can type at a constant rate of 1/4 pages per minute. Okay, so what is the ratio of pages to minute? Okay, when we see the fraction, all right, we see a fraction with that per minute, we do want to realize that, hey, that is 1 page in the 4 minutes. So I've got myself a ratio. So I took it from a unit rate, how much for 1, and wrote it simply as a ratio. And again, that's just 2 numbers with the labeling that's there. So it says Emmeline has to tape a 5-page article, but only has 18 minutes until she reaches the deadline. Does Emmeline have enough time to type the article? Okay, well, I know it's 1 page for the 4 minutes. All right, we've got a 5-page article, so I'm going to put the 5 up top because that's where the pages are at. Don't worry about the 18 yet. Again, we don't want to just stuff everything into there. Let's see how long it takes to do the 5 pages, and then we can compare. So, yeah, 1 times 5 is 5. Yep, we're going to multiply. I'm going to get a 20. So it's going to take the 20 minutes. So does she have enough time? No. All right. Why or why not? All right. Tell me why we said no. Well, she needs 20 minutes. All right. It's going to take longer. You got to give me just something that introduces, something that brings that into consideration that's there. So again, you've got a fraction. That's okay. We can write it as a ratio, and instead of going from a unit rate that has it, we can write it in our fraction form that's there. Last one we want to do here is just this first part. I know I said that was going to be the last problem, but I just want to, please, okay. And we're only going to do the first part, not the second part. So 5/3 meters per second. If we write it as a ratio, we want you to realize that that means 5 meters in the 3 seconds. All right. So, yeah, sometimes using a unit rate's not the best thing to do, and sometimes the ratio. The rate. Remember, ratio is just comparison of 2 numbers. Rate has the words that go along with it. That's sometimes the better way to go. All right. All right. My alarm's going off. I gotta go, people. Bye.